The 2013 Euro 14 season was Everton's 22nd season in the Premier League and 60th consecutive season in the top division of English football. It was also Everton's 115th season of league football and 117th season in all competitions. It was the first season without David Moyes as manager since 2002, with Moyes leaving Everton to succeed Alex Ferguson as manager of Manchester United. In addition, the club crest was redesigned ahead of the season for the first time since 2000. On June 5, 2013, Roberto Martínez was announced as the new Everton manager, having left his post at relegated FA Cup holders Wigan Athletic. Everton finished in sixth position in the domestic league in the previous season, missing out on qualification for the UEFA Europa League, meaning it failed to qualify for any European competitions for the fourth season running. Everton's Premier League campaign began in August 2013 with Martínez changing their style of play to a possession-based, attractive brand of football which initially led to 3 successive draws to start the season. A first victory came in the next match, won a 0-0 against Chelsea, and by Christmas Everton had only suffered 1 defeat, a run which included a win over Moyes' Manchester United, the first time the club had tasted success at Old Trafford in 21 years. The team almost went an entire year unbeaten at home but lost 1-0 against Sunderland on Boxing Day. Everton's progress stalled somewhat in the early part of 2014 with 3 losses in 4 games against Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea, before winning 7 league games in a row for the first time since 1987. The spell contained perhaps Everton's best performance of the season when they defeated Arsenal 3-0. The streak was ended with a 3-2 home defeat by Crystal Palace, but Everton returned to do the double over Manchester United for the first time since 1969. Moyes was sacked as their manager a day later. 2 defeats in a row after this ended Everton's Champions League hopes, but a finish of 5th in the league table is their highest in 5 years, with Everton qualifying for next season's Europa League. Martínez utilised the loan market during the season, with Romelu Lukaku being Everton's top scorer with 16 goals in all competitions. The emergence of young players such as Ross Barkley, John Stones and summer signing James McCarthy was also a feature of his debut season in charge, with Barkley going on to be selected for England's World Cup squad. Right-back Zaha copyright Amos Coleman was named Everton's Player of the Year. In the cup competitions, Everton lost in the 6th round of the FA Cup and the 3rd round of the League Cup. Season overview: July, Everton announced on May 25, 2013 that the club would be competing in the inaugural edition of the International Champions Cup, based in venues across the United States and in 1 European city, and held between July 27 and August 7, 2013. The opening fixtures were announced 4 days later, with Everton playing 2012 Euro 13 Serie A champions Juventus in the first round. Between 8 and 9 July 2013, Roberto Martínez signed 3 players who last season played for his former club Wigan Athletic: Arão Nakona copyright, a 29-year-old Ivorian striker who scored 11 goals in his debut Premier League campaign in the previous season. Everton met a £5 million release clause and beat off the competition of Newcastle United to sign him. Antolin Alcaraz, a 30-year-old Paraguayan central defender who joined on a free transfer after his contract at Wigan had expired. He had been at Wigan for 3 seasons but saw his 2012 Euro 13 season curtailed due to a groin injury. Joel Robles, a 23-year-old Spanish goalkeeper who had spent last year on loan to Wigan from Atlas copyright Tico Madrid. He joined on a 5-year contract for an undisclosed fee. Everton also signed 19-year-old Spanish forward Gerard Deulofeu on a season-long loan from Barcelona the following day, on July 10, 2013. August, Everton's Premier League campaign began on August 17 with a 2-2 draw away to Norwich City, during which Ross Barkley scored his first goal for the club. New manager Roberto Martínez saw his first competitive win come in the 2nd round of the League Cup, with Everton needing extra time to defeat League One Stevenage 2-0 September 1. On the final day of the summer transfer window, Everton brought 3 players into the club: James Mccarthy, a 22-year-old central midfielder who had previously been at Wigan for 4 years. Everton paid £13 million for the player. Romelu Lukaku on a season-long loan from Chelsea. He had been on loan at West Bromwich Albion last season, scoring 17 goals in 35 league games. Gareth Barry, a 32-year-old defensive midfielder also on a season-long loan from Manchester City. He has made 53 appearances for England. Two long-standing Everton players were sold. Marouane Fellaini left for Manchester United in a £27.5 million deal. Victor Anakabi was transferred to West Bromwich Albion in a deal which could rise to £6 million. The striker had made 168 appearances for the club, scoring 26 goals. Everton's first league win of the season came with a 1-0 home success over Chelsea, with Stephen Naismith getting the game's only goal. They then came back from 2-1 down to beat West Ham United 3-2 at Upton Park as Leighton Baines scored 2 free kicks, and Romelu Lukaku became the first Everton player since Alan Ball in 1966 to score a winner on their debut. The result also made Roberto Martínez the first ever manager in the club's history to be unbeaten in their first 6 games. However, the run did not last, as in the next fixture Fulham won 2-1 in the third round of the League Cup. New striker Lukaku continued his early form for the club by scoring 2 goals in the next league game against Newcastle United in a match where Everton led 3-0 at half-time and survived a second-half comeback to win 3-0 October 2. Everton's unbeaten run in the Premier League at the start of the season came to an end on October 5 when it was defeated by Manchester City by 3-1 at the City of Manchester Stadium. After the international break the following week, Everton returned to winning ways with a 2-1 home victory over Hull City, which saw Steven Pienaar score the winning goal just 10 seconds after coming off the bench, making his return to the side from a hamstring injury. A 2-0 away win over Aston Villa the following week saw Romelu Lukaku score his 5th goal in as many league appearances for Everton, and momentarily moved the club into 4th position on the league table. November. Everton began the month with a 0-0 home draw against Tottenham Hotspur, which meant the club had only suffered 1 defeat from their opening 10 games in successive seasons for the first time in its history. Another 0-0 draw followed before the first Merseyside derby of the season, during which Everton came from 2-1 down to lead 3-2, before an 89th minute Liverpool goal saw the game end 3-3. Everton returned to winning ways by defeating Stoke City 4-0, with both Gerard Deulofeu and Brian Oviedo scoring their first league goals for the club. Romelu Lukaku continued his impressive start to the season by scoring his 8th goal in 10 games as Everton finished the month in the Champions League places. With Oviedo and Zaha copyright Amos Coleman both scoring, it was the first time in Everton's history that both fullbacks found the net during a game. December. The next fixture saw Manchester United manager David Moyes face his former club for the first time, and it was Everton who won 1-0 to record their first victory at Old Trafford for the first time in 21 years with another goal from Oviedo. Deulofeu scored an 84th-minute goal to earn a 1-1 draw with league leaders Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium in the next fixture. Everton then beat Fulham at home for the 21st consecutive time with a 4-1 win as Leon Usman scored on his 300th league appearance for the club. Everton then travelled to Swansea and won 2-1, maintaining their record of never having lost to the Welsh side in any fixture. The club then suffered a setback to bottom of the table Sunderland, losing at home in the league for the first time in a year, after Tim Howard conceded an early penalty and was sent off in the 25th minute. Winning ways were restored in the following fixture against Southampton with goals from Coleman and Lukaku, his first in 5 league starts, to ensure Everton ended 2013 4th in the table. January. The new year began with Everton travelling to the Britannia Stadium to face Stoke City, and they earned a 1-1 draw courtesy of a stoppage-time Leighton Baines penalty. A comfortable progression into the 4th round of the FA Cup followed by beating Championship side Queen's Park Rangers 4-0 with striker Nicola Jalovia scoring his first goals of the season. Everton's first league win of 2014 was a 2-0 home success over Norwich City, meaning the side had now earned 42 points from their last 51 at Goodison Park. The club then saw off League One side Stevenage for a Euro-0 to reach the fifth round of the FA Cup, but then suffered their biggest derby defeat since 1982 as Liverpool thrashed them for a Euro-0 at Anfield. During the January transfer window, Everton brought two players into their first-team squad, Aidan Mccarthy, an Irish international winger from Russian side Spartak Moscow, for an undisclosed fee. Lasinatura Copyright, a 6'8" Ivorian centre-forward on loan for the rest of the season from Monaco. The club also sold two players during the month. Nikita Jalovia's 2-year stay at the club ended after he moved to Hull City. The striker had enjoyed a fast start for Everton by scoring 9 goals in his first 13 games, but netted just 2 goals in the whole of 2013. He had fallen behind Romelu Lukaku as the first-choice striker and also moved in a bid to improve his chances of selection in Croatia's squad for the World Cup. John Hiatt moved to Fulham after 4.5 years at Everton. He had struggled for first-team football during the season, having failed to start a single league game, but did score on his final appearance for the club in an FA Cup fixture against Stevenage. February, Kevin Mirallas scored a fantastic 25-yard free-kick as Everton came from a goal down to beat Aston Villa to a Euro-1. Everton lost for the second time in 3 games as Tottenham Hotspur defeated them 1 Euro-0 at White Hart Lane, but their form in the FA Cup continued with a 3 Euro-1 home success over Swansea City to reach the quarter-finals. The club then lost a second league game in a row for the first time this season when Chelsea scored a stoppage-time winner at Stamford Bridge. March, Romelu Lukaku returned from an ankle injury to score a late goal in a 1 Euro-0 win over West Ham United to begin March, but Everton were knocked out of the FA Cup following a 4 Euro-1 defeat to Arsenal, which means the club have now failed to beat the Gunners in the last 20 away meetings. Tsar copyright Amos Coleman's miscued shot in the last minute of the next game against Cardiff City ensured Everton responded with a 2 Euro-1 victory to be placed 6th in the table. The club then won 4 league games in a row for the first time in 6 years by defeating Newcastle United 3 Euro-0 thanks to an amazing solo goal from Ross Barkley, who dribbled from inside his own half to score the opener. It was Everton's biggest win at Newcastle in 47 years. Everton ended the month with a 5th successive victory for the first time since 2002 with a 3 Euro-1 away win over Fulham. April and May, Everton beat Champions League rivals Arsenal 3 Euro-0 at home in a performance manager Martinez described as tactically perfect. The result left the side a point behind the 4th-placed Gunners with a game in hand. A 7th successive league win for the first time since 1987 followed with a 1 Euro-0 victory over Sunderland, which moved the club into 4th place. It also took them to 65 points, the highest total Everton have ever amassed in a Premier League season. The club then handed the initiative back to Arsenal in the race for Champions League football as they lost 3 Euro-2 at home to Crystal Palace. Everton responded with a 2 Euro-0 victory over Manchester United, and in doing so did the double over for the reigning champions for the first time since 1969. Everton's previous manager David Moyes was sacked by United a day later after just 10 months in charge. However, Everton then lost 2 Euro-0 against Southampton and 3 Euro-2 to Manchester City to end their chances of finishing the campaign in 4th place. Before the Manchester City game there had been rumours that Everton would not try 100% or field a weakened side, as any positive result would give rivals Liverpool the impetus in the race for the title. Roberto Martínez insisted his team would be giving everything they had for the win and, despite the loss, he said afterwards that he was proud of the effort of the players. Everton finished the season by winning 2 Euro-0 away at FA Cup finalists Hull City to finish 5th in the table and qualify for next season's Europa League. Pre-season, friendlies, International Champions Cup. Competitions, overall, last updated, April 16, 2014, source, competitions, Premier League. League table. Results summary, last updated, May 11. Source, Premier League, results by matchday, last updated, May 11, 2014. Source, Stat.com ground, A equals away. H equals home. Result, D equals draw. L equals lose. W equals win. P equals postponed. Matches, League Cup. FA Cup. Players, first team squad, as of March 26, 2014. Note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan, note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Statistics, appearances, as of match played May 11, 2014. Goal scorers, as of match played May 11, 2014. Disciplinary record. Home attendances. Correct as of match played May 3, 2014. AAAA a win, AAAA a draw, AAAA a loss. Transfers, references.